Who's taking care of your kids right now?
Excuse me, are you trying to shame a working mother
Not
of
at
four?
All. But you aren't telling
Who's
us.
taking care of my kids right now? What an anti-feminist statement to make.
All right, everybody, this is Kristen Hawkins. She does the good work of going to college campuses and basically confronting leftist students who are pro-abortion on what abortion actually is, what it actually does, and why it's pretty much the evil that it really is. You are ending a life, pure and simple. Now, I know, yeah, I'm going to get the, well, you're a guy, what do you know about it? First off, you need us to actually have children, so I think we have every right to our own children, so we have every right to comment on it. Uh, and you don't have the right of life and death. Nobody does. So let's go, and she's going to go over the 5 lies about abortion that came up during the Trump-Harris debate. Let's listen.
The first lie that we heard last night was that abortions don't happen in the 9th month of pregnancy. As you saw when I called earlier the night, I asked for a 30-week abortion. As I said, if you go to my Twitter, there's a video of me calling an abortion facility in Maryland, I actually scheduled a 34-week abortion. That's the 8th month of pregnancy. I didn't ask for 9, but I could. There are 9 states actually, plus Washington, D.C., that have no legal limits on when abortions can be committed in pregnancy. They are Alaska, Vermont, Oregon, New Mexico, Colorado, Minnesota, Michigan, Maryland, New Jersey. Minnesota actually changed their law in 2022 when Governor Walz signed a new abortion law in effect that allows abortion up until the moment of birth. The local news station there and their fact checkers, KHARE 11 News, found in 2024 that the law does indeed allow abortion up until the moment of birth. There's literally 0 prohibitions. There's been many testimonials. There's a book that was written called Why I Am an Abortion Doctor by Suzanne Pompamia, who's a board member of NAF, the National Abortion Federation, who openly admits a woman came into an abortion facility saying she did not want to have a baby. The abortion worker was so inept at her job and said, I looked in her cervix, there's something there, something's not right. And they found out it was the baby's head. And they still committed the abortion in the abortion facility. And this woman thought it's such a good story, she wrote a book about it. As I quoted earlier, CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which we don't have a national abortion reporting law, so all their abortion stats are actually lowered because California and New York, which are the 2 largest abortion states, don't report their abortion numbers to the CDC, said that there were more than 10,370 preborn babies in 2023 who were killed after 21 weeks, meaning they could have survived and lived outside the womb. Lie number 2 we heard at the first presidential debate was that there is no state in which abortion after birth is legal. Colorado, Michigan, California have actually recently enacted laws that include a new legal term called pregnancy outcome. These states have moved to make abortion a right and allow women to have abortions for any reason, no questions asked, based on undefined terms using pregnancy outcome. Legal scholars believe using this term means that as long as there is a dead baby, it's considered a pregnancy outcome. So even if the child is born alive in the abortion facility, that is not illegal because it's the pregnancy outcome that she intended, which was to terminate the life of their child. Deliberately or killing the baby through negligence is not explicitly excluded under the rules and under the law, which is extremely scary. We know from Douglas Carpin, the famous late-term abortionist north of Dallas, he openly advocated and talked about the abortions he committed where children, because he was really bad at his job, killed many women, the babies that were born alive. Kermit Gosnell, when he was on trial in Philadelphia after he was arrested by the pro-choice district attorney in Philadelphia for illegally prescribing narcotic drugs to women having untrained medical staff, his abortion workers admitted multiple babies were born alive in his abortion facility. In fact, in Minnesota, we know there was a law in place before 2022 or 2021 that Governor Tim Walz signed, but before that law, there had to be a report filed at every abortion facility if a child came out breathing during an abortion. During Governor Walz's tenure as governor, at least before this law went into effect, which said you don't have to report it, at least 8 babies, according to the state of Minnesota, were born and died gasping for breath.
It's obfuscating language. I'm going to get that word right. I'm telling you, obfuscating language in these laws that allows for late-term abortion. That is what the argument is. Now, you can come back at it from the left and say, hey, you know what? We weren't, this language does not mean that. This is only because of this and this. But the problem is that this and this is part of the obfuscation. When it comes right down to it, you are allowing for late-term abortions.
For breath. Lie number 3 we heard from the first presidential debate was that pro-life laws make it criminal for doctors to provide life-saving health care. Kamala Harris did a whole quote about this. That has been fact-checked and proven by the Association of American Medical Colleges, AMAC, who quote state, "Every state has an exception that allows for abortion needed to save the life of a pregnant person." They're obviously liberal because they don't say woman. AMAC goes further to say, quote, to date, no physician has been criminally prosecuted in any state for providing an abortion that was due to a medical emergency. So that's inaccurate. I would argue every single case we've seen come before the news media of women saying they didn't receive care was not for a life-threatening emergency. There was one case in Texas that was just pure medical negligence. The hospital was not treating the woman, and that doctors should be held accountable. We heard another lie at the debate that IVF treatment is unavailable under pro-life laws. Unfortunately, that is inaccurate. Every single pro-life law that is passed in our country explicitly has a carve-out to allow human beings to be created in petri dish and treated as human property to be disposed of, implanted, researched, or thrown away upon their parents' wishes. The Alabama Supreme Court decision did not make IVF illegal in Alabama, despite what most people thought. The Alabama Supreme Court decision was brought by parents whose children in petri dishes were killed because the IVF clinic did not have proper safety protocols to ensure crazy people couldn't get back in their lab. A crazy person went back in the lab, dropped the petri dishes, and killed humans. The Supreme Court said the parents had the right to sue for wrongful death, still not fully claiming they were persons, but saying that they were somewhat sort of quasi-persons and property of the parents. Once again, hearkening back to my slavery references, because with the IVF industry, we deem human beings as our property, morally problematic.
And the IVF thing is rather sketchy. I mean, not sketchy, it's just a touchy subject. I have had people that I've known and very close to that have gone through IVF treatments to desperately have a child. And after a while, after multiple treatments, there came basically a discussion of whether this was the right thing to do, because you actually are creating human beings and then freezing them to use later. So it's a very touchy subject as far as if this is a moral thing to do. But when it comes down to it, you're creating human beings and then flushing them down a toilet when certain portions of it doesn't work via the procedure. And as said, these people that I have known have stopped doing it just because they felt that, yeah, they were actually killing potential human beings.
Lie number 5 we heard last night was that Kamala Harris was just for codifying Roe. That's all she wants to do if she's elected. She wants to do way more than that. In fact, she has publicly stated the Biden-Harris administration actually issued a public letter the last time the former Speaker Nancy Pelosi brought up the Women's Health Protection Act for a vote, calling for this bill to be voted on and passed. It passed the House. It failed the Senate because of the filibuster. One of the things the Democrats want to get rid of. This bill, they call it Roe 2.0, is actually much more dangerous than Roe versus Wade. It would mandate that every state in the nation must allow abortionists to set up shop in their nation, provide abortions for any reason, at any point of pregnancy, taxpayer funded, and if medical personnel refuse to comply and participate in abortion, they could be held liable. In the Senate, Kamala Harris was actually the co-sponsor of this bill. So, 5 lies you heard last night. Thank you all for coming and enduring that.
And there we have it, guys. This is it. The Democrats can't exist without lying. I've become convinced of that. There is absolutely no point at which they are straightforward. Everything uses obfuscating language. Everything doesn't get to the point so that you can maneuver it around within a court of law. It's insidious. And be that as it may, as you can tell, I am very pro-life. I don't think that abortion should be used as a way of contraception. And when you look at the statistics and find out that the holy trinity of abortion that the left clings to, of incest, rape, and life of the mother, only occurs within 8 to 9% of all abortions done, which means that 92% of all abortions done can be put down to matters of convenience. And that's putting it straight. That's it. 92% of all abortions are from an idea of convenience. It's not convenient. I don't have the money right now. I can't have a family right now. I won't have a future right now. How will I go through college? You should have thought of that. And I do have experience with this. You should have thought about that before you engaged within an activity whose primary goal is the production of other human beings. That's all sex is. The reason why it feels good is so you'll keep doing it. Honestly, get it through your thick skulls. But either as it may, thanks for listening to me today, guys. I'm going to keep churning these things out, so do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. I think I've fixed my microphone. If I have not, and you have any information on how I might be able to do that, please leave a comment. Or maybe you think I should just shut up and go fuck my mother. But leave a comment telling me to go shut up and go fuck my mother. Anyway, see y'all later, guys. Later days.